Raider.
I feel like every time we do one of these, it always starts with it's been a while since our last one, because it's always a while since we.
It wasn't that long ago.
The last one we didn't, I didn't even post. The one after Burnley.
Oh, you didn't post.
I was really pissed after Burnley. I was like, I'm pretty sure I said stuff that I don't mean because I'm just so angry right now.
You rage quit on the podcast.
Yeah, so I rage quit on that one. Just didn't post it. Because you know what it is, like, we've been top of the league. So on some level, I'm expecting us to win every single game, but at the same time, it's just not realistic, is it? Like, this isn't flipping 2005 where we're just toying with teams. Like, it is a different type of league. Obviously, we have to get used to the fact that there are 20 good Premier League teams to compete against. So, you know, I just didn't feel like posting that one because it just probably didn't reflect my true thoughts on where we were at. I think I said something bad about Reece James that one. I can't remember.
Did you actually?
Yeah, which I fully regret now, obviously. But yeah, no, I can't remember the last one we actually did, but since then, obviously, the last 3 games have been a bit tricky. We've dropped points the last few games. The one against Burnley, I think the one against Burnley was quite annoying. The one against Man United was quite frustrating, and then we sort of nicked a win against Watford, and we've lost today 3-2.
Yeah.
It was one of those, in my opinion, I thought it was one of those games that I thought was coming. It felt like it was something that was going to happen. It just didn't know who it was going to be against. What were your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, after the Man United draw, the Burnley draw, and then it just felt like we were slipping. So I think West Ham were a strong team for us to rightfully lose points to, because we weren't our full selves. We didn't seem. Our defense was nothing compared to what it's been at the beginning of the season. So this was the game to actually lose to, I think.
They're not a bad team. Like, they have a good, playing 11. They have got good depth on the bench. Jared Bowen, I thought, was good. Antonio, Ben Rama was on the bench. But so they have some very decent players. Kurt Zouma was starting for them first time we've played against him. I thought he was doing well until he got injured. So, they had a really good team out on the pitch. It wasn't one that we were going to go there and sort of steamroll or get, the 3 points were guaranteed. It was, we had to go and earn it. And I think in all honesty, I thought that we played really well. But I think XG arrives all the same. Like, XG will come to haunt you, like, all the same. Like, and I think we've massively underperformed on XG the last few games, and it sort of came back to bite us in the end today.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't think we deserved all 3 points. At maximum, probably a point. But I think, West Ham were very deserving of the win. They took their opportunity, they took their chances. We outplayed them in terms of possession and passing and, number of shots, but they created more chances, more big chances. And, they got what they deserved. They deserved all 3 points, and, they're in the top 4. So it wasn't a fluke win. It was one that they earned. Like I said, I think the Burnley one was probably more frustrating, and we got a point out of that. But I think it's still the way we're playing at the moment. It's not really reflective of, what Tuchel wants to do, for what his vision is and stuff. So what do you think that's down to? Why do you think we're not able to really play that well?
Wait, are you referring to Burnley or Watford?
Burnley, but the draw against Burnley.
Okay.
That one annoyed me a lot more than today's result.
Okay. Well, I think in the last match we played against Watford.
Yeah.
And that we didn't seem like the same team, and I felt that was because we didn't have Jorginho, who's the usual one to pull the strings and dictate the play. In this, he was there, so we were playing more like ourselves. I felt. I think it was just defense. It wasn't organized like the way it usually is, and that's where we slipped. We were playing long balls all of a sudden. We weren't playing from the back. We had a good period of the match where we were playing from the back, but then we just gave up on it for some reason,
Yeah.
which was strange to me.
Just off that, like, who do you think are our top three players, or our most important three players that we have?
I think Mendy.
Okay.
I think Jorginho,
Yeah.
and I'd say Mason Mount.
Okay. So you don't think the wing backs are as important as
Oh, I
those
think
three?
they're very important. But you told me three, gave me three options.
See, for me personally, it's the two wing backs, Chilwell and Reece,
Yeah.
and Jorginho,
Hmm.
because I think without them, we look a completely different. We play different football. We have different patterns of play that just don't look like, they don't look right. They don't look like we're playing our ball. We're playing sort of forced passing and forced possession and not really creating any chances. So for me, those three are probably our most important players. And I thought today Jorginho was really good. He made a mistake against Man United that led to the goal that Sancho scored, but he still had a very solid game. And against did he play against Watford?
No, he didn't. He wasn't there.
Again, we looked so different
Yeah.
to what we normally. So who played in midfield? Was it Ruben and it wasn't Kante, was it?
Saul, and then
Saul,
he came
Saul.
off at halftime, and Chalobah went into
Yeah,
midfield.
yeah. So you could tell. The thing is, when Jorginho is probably for me the most important player in terms of how we build from the back and how
Yeah.
we are able to retain the ball. Um, he's constantly moving, and I think we discussed this on the last one as well. Is that he's constantly moving. He's always making himself available for the 5 yard passes that are so important in build up and moving the ball and switching sides.
He's
And
telling other people as well where to move.
yeah,
It creates
exactly. And
so
he's instructing everyone where to be and how to, position themselves in order to make, possession more efficient and more effective.
definitely.
And when he's not playing, obviously, there's obviously that it's very clear that we're not playing with Jorginho. Today he played, and I thought he played really well. And we kept the ball really well. I thought the passing was really good. Um, just that sort of cutting edge, I thought was lacking. If we obviously went with Havertz, Mason, and Ziyech today. Do you think we missed Lukaku? From the start, because I didn't think he was that effective coming off the bench. Although there is a presence, but do you think he should have started this game? If he could have.
I'm quite confused with Lukaku because I feel like he'd be perfect for us, but for some reason it doesn't look so fluid when he's on.
Hmm.
Uh, in terms of his ability and what he can do, we should he should be our main man, but for some reason it's just not working.
I think we discussed this. I think after Liverpool is that Lukaku is I'd say a traditional striker in terms of you want to get the ball into him while he's in the box. He doesn't really. His strengths don't lie really in his link up. He can do it and he can be part of a build up, but primarily and predominantly, that's where his strengths are. Where you're going to get the most out of him is if you ping the ball into him in the box. And I felt we haven't really done enough of that in the last few games where he's played. Do you agree with that? Like, how do you see it?
Yeah, I think so. We need more people to be feeding him the ball, but it may also be the fact that he's literally right with the centre backs, and they're already covering him, so it's difficult to find him at times. I don't know if that's an issue because I noticed that there was a few moments in the game where he was coming in and linking up with the Pulisic or Mount as well, and that was good. He got into the game that way, but when he's by himself, you weren't really finding him.
Yeah, it's tough because you know there's that period of adaptation that we had to go through with him because obviously we didn't have him for pre-season. He's not really played with these guys before with the manager, so he doesn't have that previous experience. So it really is. and at Inter as well, like he probably played a different style of football completely to what we're playing right now. With less possession based and more sort of back to goal and also attacking spaces and all that kind of stuff. Whereas now he's playing against deep blocks every single game. He's having to play against, which is he's used to. He's done that before, and he's come to an age where he's experienced enough of playing against deep blocks and trying to find tight spaces and in deeper areas kind of thing. So he can do that, but I think right now it does feel a bit like Tuchel doesn't really know what to do with him. Probably in his mind he has it all figured out, but I don't think he's been able to implement a plan for Lukaku yet.
Yeah, I think the system is just not for him as it is right now. Maybe with Chilwell, Reece James, it, you know,
Is it a case of
playing, it'll
just like
be
spamming
easier.
a bunch of crosses into him?
I think there's a bit more to his game than just crosses, but we'll have to see. I hope it works out because it'll be so good to see him at his highest level. He's
Well,
so dangerous when
when you
good.
think about goal scorers, you think about him, you think about Kane,
Yeah,
Lewandowski, Suarez, these kind of guys. They're the traditional target men that sort of know how to get bag goals against sides like Watford and West Ham and Burnley and all this kind of stuff. And they haven't been able to do that.
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, seasons change so quickly. You can be so good for the first 3 months and then really crap for the well, like we saw last year exactly. We were very decent at the start of the season. We were playing some really good football on the lamps, and then December came around and we were horrible. We couldn't string three passes together, and then Tuchel comes in at the end of January. Everything changes, the style changes, the tactics change, and suddenly players that weren't doing well are suddenly being extremely effective. I'm talking about guys like Timo Werner and all those guys. So
yeah.
is it? I mean, do you think his time is coming around the corner? Lukaku's like just he needs that one little spark that will get his season up and running again. Because I thought against
Hopefully,
Arsenal as well, like just to add, against Arsenal was probably his best performance
yeah.
in terms of his presence around attack was so effective. You could feel him with every ball that was going into him. You could feel that he was going to create something. So do you think that that's what it is right now?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, he was injured, wasn't he? So he's been missing a few matches, but now that he's getting back into it, let's see. Hopefully, he can get back. Hopefully, he can come back to his top form.
Yeah.
You were talking about the December period. Do you think that there'll be any changes to the team?
Well, they're dropping like flies at the moment. So we've got Kante injured, Kovacic injured, Chilwell obviously out long term.
Havertz
Um,
possibly.
Havertz possibly. Apparently, he had a knock today. We've
Chalobah's
been
gone.
Chalobah's. Yeah, I mean, we still don't know what's happening with Chalobah. The team. We didn't have Werner or Lukaku for the best part of a month. We don't have Kovacic. It's and I think Tuchel said today as well, like Mendy's lacking a bit of confidence as well. So I don't know if this is a problem that he can contain and he can sort of use as a way to change plan or to implement a new structure or whatever. And that doesn't necessarily mean change the formation or whatever. It's just the overall mentality of the team. How we play, how we build up, how we approach games, and how we look at certain games and all that kind of stuff. Is it a way to refresh? Um, there's been talk of bringing back Ian Martson as a left wing back. There's been talk of cutting Gallagher's loan short. I don't think any of these things will happen, but I think it's worth looking at if we're dealing with a Chilwell ACL, which keeps him out for the rest of the season. Is Alonso enough to keep us going? Is Aspi at left wing back enough to keep us going? There's been talk of Saul slotting at a left wing back. I feel like wing back right now is the most important position on the pitch for us in terms of productivity. I think we get maximum amount of crosses and build up, in the final third around those areas
Yeah.
with Reece and Chilwell. And I think lacking a naturally energetic and dynamic left wing back, it will significantly hurt us
Mm-hmm.
if we don't look at a potential actual replacement for Chilwell, because I just don't think Alonso's up to scratch to end that role.
Any particular players you have in mind?
In hindsight, I would have liked to have kept Emerson.
Hmm.
So I thought he was really good last season when when Tuchel brought him in. I think Martin's very good prospect. I don't think it's worth spending a lot of money on a left wing back, even though, I mean, Pep, he obviously spent a lot on Cancelo and Walker and Mendy and Ake, who plays, left back who played left back at times.
Hmm.
Um, there's a reason why he spends that much money on those positions. It's because it is almost like having two wingers, and having a defender at the same point at the same time. So
Yeah.
there's no particular players I think for left wing back. You don't want to spend too much on a backup player. I mean, if you can, great. But I think if it's someone that fits the profile and ticks a few boxes in terms of so cheap, would you go for someone that's experienced or would you go for someone that's young, with potential? Like, I mean, you personally, what would you go for?
Um, Energy. I think energy is the most important.
Of course, but what
Yeah.
profile? Like someone that is expensive and experienced, or someone that's expensive and young, or someone that's cheap and experienced, or cheap and young.
Depends on what we do with Alonso. If we plan on letting him go, then why not go with
That's
someone
probably not going to
expensive?
happen, though, isn't it?
He somehow manages to stay.
He will literally retire with us. Like that guy, he will get a better send off than John Terry.
Yeah, he he has these dips in form, and then he just scores out of nowhere when he comes back,
Yeah, but
and then he has a great
that
run.
the guy is so like he's so it's become comical how bad he is. Like, I think Watford deliberately target. If you look at their heat map of where they attacked, the areas where they attacked, it was literally him. There was no other areas where they were attacking. It was literally just him. There's Emmanuel Dennis and someone else on the side. They were just targeting Alonso the whole game. Like you can't have that. We can't. I know he's experienced and he's got international experience and he's what highly regarded. I don't know why he's highly regarded, but he is what he is. I just don't think we are going to progress with someone like him in this system.
It's a shit. I mean, at the beginning of the season, he was untouchable. Even Chilwell can displace him.
Yeah,
He can be the best left wing back
no, no,
when
no,
he is in
no,
form.
no, no,
When he is in form,
no.
there's no one
I
better
will
than
not
him.
let you finish that sentence. No,
There is no one better than him.
no, no. All right, okay. Well, I might have to kick you off. You might have to take a little L for this podcast. Might have to issue a red card, mate, because that's flipping. I will never accept any Marcos Alonso praise on this podcast ever, ever. So I will repeat my question.
He's won your team Premier League,
No,
Champions League.
just stop. Just stop. I will never ever warm to that guy. Okay, so being serious now. So would you? Okay, so even being serious, I mean, are you okay with Alonso continuing to play as if Chilwell was out for the rest of the season?
No, no, he's not consistent enough. I think that we need a replacement. If it's Aspie, fine, but then if something happens to Reece James, God forbid, then who's going to replace him? So we need someone to fill in for that left wing back slot. I think.
Tuchel actually talked about potentially playing Saul over there. I think that's quite interesting because I think with Saul you get someone that is okay. I said that the wing back position is very important, but at the same time, it's the least impactful in terms of defensive mistakes. So if you make a mistake as a wing back, you can sort of get away with it because of the centre back behind you.
I don't even trust his passing in the current state. Why would I
Who
want?
Saul?
Yeah. Why would I want him as a left wing back?
It's tough because yeah, he's sort of been a bit the complete opposite of what he's been at Atletico. He's and he wasn't great at Atletico, last season either. Like I think he's regressed a lot. As a player, his concentration seems to be all over the place. He's not really focused. His passing is just really really poor. But I think if you want to sort of get something out of a player that's low on confidence, um, maybe switching his position and trying him in a new position where he can have a new outlook and have a new ambition sort of thing, to be good at it. Maybe that could be the solution, and that comes at no cost to us. So for me, the reason I'm talking so much about this wingback thing is because I think the moment we lose Reece or Chilwell, we look like a really poor team.
Yeah.
On the front foot. I don't think we're able to attack the same way, and I don't think it's as much of a problem on the right side because I think Aspi is obviously a much better cover in his position than Alonso is in his.
Yeah.
So you don't really feel that drop in quality on that side, but that left side, it's so unbalanced because you start realizing how much stronger we are on the right than left, and teams will obviously realize that.
Yeah.
And they'll start targeting those areas. So is it worth actually spending, say, 20-25 million pound on a left back like we did for Emerson?
Mhm.
And bring in someone temporarily who can fill in for the rest of the season and then be a backup. I don't know who that could be. Robin Gosens from Atalanta has obviously played wing back for them. He's been brilliant for me. He's one of the best left wing backs in world football. Who I don't think who will cost a lot. And I don't think particularly he would mind, sharing the role with Chilwell in the future. Then there's obviously Nicolas Tagliafico, who we were linked with. We were linked with Reguilon. He went to Tottenham. But Tagliafico, another player, I feel, perfect. He's at a decent age. He's not too young and he's not too old. He wouldn't come with a massive price tag. He's got experience, Champions League and international. Very quick, technically very good, very gifted. If you're putting the project in front of him and you're saying, well, you have the opportunity to be at Chelsea as our number one left back for the rest of the season, potentially winning the Premier League and Champions League and maybe FA Cup. We're in contention for all of those. Make no mistake of it. We're still firmly in contention for every single trophy.
Mhm.
If I'm Tagliafico, that's not a bad offer to get from Chelsea. And if it doesn't work out at Chelsea, you still go on, to get a nice move to, a Spanish club or, one of those kind of clubs, those Villarreal's or Valencia's, whatever, in the future. So, is it worth going out for someone like that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We need a good left wing back for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that Alonso's a good enough replacement for Chilwell at the moment.
Do you think on the flip side, do you think we have a buyback clause of £25 million for Valentino Livramento at Southampton, who's been fantastic for them this season, really showing his talent, but able to play with a lot of freedom. He's playing in a 4 right now, so he is having to be quite disciplined and he's showing a lot of his qualities that he showed with us in the academy, but just at this level now. Is he someone that is worth bringing in and potentially putting him on the left or putting Reece on the left and seeing how that works out?
I think that it was his decision to leave Chelsea because he wanted the playing time. So I don't know how likely it would be that he wants to come back to Chelsea. Maybe if they say, we'll play you on the left and you'll get the minutes, then possibly he could be up for it. I know he has Chelsea in his heart, so why not?
Yeah, of course. I think also in the future, just looking a bit forward in time, it wouldn't be past, the possibility of having him play right wing back, Reece right centre back, Christensen in the middle.
Yeah.
Who knows what happens with Rudiger? Maybe we bring in, another centre back. Maybe we go forward with Chalobah. But I can definitely see Livramento coming back to Chelsea and playing that role.
Yeah.
Really well. With Chilwell on the left and Martin, we have there are so many good left backs around now, so it's one to look at for the future. But in the near future, I think investing for the sake of investing is silly, but I don't think we'd be doing that. I think someone like Tagliafico probably fits that profile really well. So yeah, I want to talk a bit about Declan Rice today. What did you make of his performance? I thought he was really, really, brilliant as he usually is. He's never really had a chance to show his quality against us, but I thought today it really came out.
He definitely had a presence in the match. You could see that he had an impact for West Ham. So yeah, that's as much as I can really say. I think
Is
that
it
there were other players that really stood out to me, but that's not to say that he played poorly or anything like that.
like who?
Bowen played really
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um,
quality.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was a fantastic performance, and he won man of the match. So
Who, Jarrett Bowen then?
yeah,
Decent. Is he someone that you want at Chelsea, Declan Rice?
um, I think he could fit quite well. I think he would
But do you think
work
he
really
is
well.
the player for us to buy?
Yeah, I think I don't see why not. I think he would fit perfectly. He'd be a big player, big part. He'd have good chemistry with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I thought they were brilliant today, man. A lot of their players really stood out. Just really quickly, the Mason Mount goal today, one of the best goals I've seen um, in a long time
hmm
from a Chelsea player, from anyone for that matter. Ziyech pings one across from one side to the other. Mason takes it on the first volley and sort of places it into the bottom corner past Fabianski. I thought that was really fantastic, really coming to life now. I think he had a bit of a slow start at the start of the season.
yeah,
Obviously, probably quite tired from the amount of football that he's been playing, but he's starting to really get into his groove now,
yeah,
becoming a really impactful player as the games go on.
yeah. He's looking like the like the player in the previous seasons that has carried the team as well.
Yeah,
Really brought us forward. So looking forward to seeing him for the rest of the season.
yeah,
Yeah, I think he'll do more great things like that.
yeah.
He has it in him.
I think him and I think Havertz is really coming out of his shell as well. I think a lot of his quality is starting to show. His talent is starting. It's not just talent anymore. He's starting to put that into good use. Some of
Yeah,
his touches and passes to progress the ball and dribble with the ball and stuff. It's really coming into effect. Just a really quick chat about the Havertz versus Lukaku thing.
hmm
As much as I hate to say it, I feel like we play better football when Havertz is on the pitch playing false nine
yeah,
than Lukaku. And that could just be for now.
hmm
It could turn into, Lukaku scoring 20-25 goals a season for us, just by us changing, a few things in attack. What do you prefer personally? Like, what do you prefer seeing and what do you prefer for the future?
I think Havertz just looks a bit more dynamic. We get things going with the team, not necessarily only with him, but the whole team. They just the two goals that we scored were when Havertz was on. It's not to say that it was early because of him, but I think that it just we flow better compared to when Lukaku is playing at the moment, and that may just be down to the system. And as we said,
Yeah,
Tuchel not knowing
I
how
was.
to use Lukaku just as
I was
yet.
actually I was talking to someone after the game and they said, we look like a cup team with Havertz and with Lukaku we still don't look like a league team. And that really um sort of stuck in my mind because that when you think about it, it's true. When we used Havertz as a false nine last season in the league,
hmm
okay, we may have won, a few games and stuff with him, but I felt against teams like Atletico and Real Madrid and, just the build up to the final and even in the final, Havertz was so effective in the Champions League
Yeah,
in comparison to the Premier. You can't really think of anything of note that he did in the Premier League, even with Tuchel.
hmm
Um, and that was really interesting because I felt even today we looked like a cup team. We looked like a team that were um, sort of I don't know. Those old Spanish teams and the Italian teams that were really effective in and quick on the ball in possession and it was all about keeping the ball and moving it from side to side.
yeah,
I think that's the sort of team we are with Havertz, which
okay,
is fun to watch. But I think when you're playing the Premier League, you're playing against um, different sort of opposition every single week, right? But they all offer the same thing. They all offer a lot of energy to play against. The counter attacking is, obviously um, uh, the main trait of the Premier League.
hmm
And I think when you're playing in this league, you need someone like Lukaku to take those chances when they come, and someone that you can just ping the ball to if someone's, in your half, if someone's camped in your half and you can't get out. Someone like Lukaku who can hold the ball up and can drive at the opposition goal. Um, we could really be a formidable team in terms of being able to separate Champions League and Premier League.
Mhm.
So, what do you think of that, potentially sort of having Lukaku for the Premier League games and Havertz for the Champions League games? Even though probably maybe it wouldn't work because Lukaku would want to play the Champions League games, but how do you see that?
It's the same as what I've said before, where it's a 90-minute game, so you can always sub on if you need to, or alternate between the matches as well. I think there's space for both of them to play in Champions League and Premier League. Um, Havertz, what you said about the cup games, I agree. Yeah, we do really well when he's on, especially for the cup games. Lukaku is meant to be the one that we are doing well in the Premier League fixtures. So it's it's strange that it's not happening at the moment. But yeah, it seems that right now Havertz is. Oh, we have more success with Havertz right now than with Lukaku.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I think once this month is over and we have the Club World Cup in February, and then sort of the group stage games for all competitions, and then it starts to become knockout games, and we have a lot of crucial Premier League games. It's going to pile up, of course it will, and we're going to be facing different competitions as we did last season, and we were successful last season because we were able to be consistent in the way we play and the way we were scoring goals and defending. I think defensively, the transformation is the reason why we firstly won the Champions League and secured top four, and have been top of the league until today. Um, so I hope that, I mean, even the defense I think today was quite poor. They made very many mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that improves. But I think once the December period is over, once the fixture congestion is over, I think we'll start to see a new Chelsea personally.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty much all that there was to talk about. We have Zenit next.
Okay.
So Champions League game, get us out of that Premier League English football sort of mindset. Get into the Champions League knockout stages. If we win that game, I believe we top the group. If we lose it, we have to better Juventus's result basically to get top of the group.
Okay.
So hopefully we can do that. I think we're away at Zenit, and we've got Leeds on Saturday. So quite a few big games coming up.
Yeah.
Winnable games. No, I don't think we have any top 6 games for a while.
No, we faced Man United already, didn't we?
Yeah, so we've done Man United, done Spurs,
Yeah.
done City, Liverpool,
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, nice run of fixtures coming up. We just
Yeah.
have to utilize the squad properly, I think. Do you think the injuries will be a problem this month?
Um, I don't think too much. I don't think we'll have.
It's quite a large squad.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Do you
So
think? I mean, do you see us doing any loan recalls in January?
I don't think we'll do loan recalls. I think because with Gallagher, I think that we won't want to disrupt his progress. He's doing
Gilmore?
so well. Gilmore, he's getting playing time now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Dean
So
Smith is playing him every game
yeah,
now.
so that's good. So he can focus on that.
Hmm.
That'll be good for him that time. Matson, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't.
Doesn't
I
seem
think
realistic right now.
I think we'll actually We'll go to the transfer market. For an alternative.
Be interesting. It'll be very interesting if we do.
Yeah.
Kunde, I think, is out of the window now. I don't think we need him because we got Chalobah, and depends as well with
Depends on
Rudiger.
Rudiger, yeah. And Christensen is yet to sign.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, hopefully he stays fit till the end of the season. And
Yeah.
You never know. So
it will be a very interesting few weeks coming up. I'm sure we'll do more of these this month. We haven't. Life's been good for the last couple months. We've been top of the league. Not much to worry about, not much to talk about, but I think there will be a lot of challenges ahead that I think we can overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we will or not, it's left we need to see. But yeah, interesting one today, and we'll catch up after reckon Leeds maybe.
Yeah, sounds good.
Next weekend.
Yeah,
sweet. All right, well that's all we have. Thank you for listening. Thank you for talking to me about best football club on the planet. Yeah, that's all we have. Thank you very much. Up the Chelsea. Anything you want to add?
okay.
Raider.
It might be good to have a sort of target man like Giroud who can bring the ball down at his feet and distribute it.
Mhm.
You know, it is a big possibility, but we'll see how that goes. What are you expecting from the Atletico games?
I